Okay. Thank you both for that. Okay. This. But how are we sure? How are we sure? Somebody said praying.
A lot of challenges in your marriage. When you have children, where the children go to church, suppose the person is a Sunday keeper, they can go to church on Sabbath and Sundays. They're gonna have the pork for the husband alone, and then the wife and the children don't eat pork. How is it gonna work out? So all these things are gonna end up being little problems that can develop into very big problems. So that's why we are counseled not to go there.
Agreed. Okay. They pour their milk before their cereal. They pour their milk before the cereal. We had to add some petty ones, guys. What's the word that people like to say now is a ick. A small thing that just happened to turn you off. That might be it. All right. The next one. They are broke. They are broke. All right. We can see the flags first, guys. Flags first. Wait. Just work with me, guys. So that's a half flag. Bro, no, we talking about no. Right now, where you are at, no. Bro, no. Okay, we're gonna hear from Matthias.
So obviously what we are trying to get from you is a qualification of what broke is, right? So if it is that you just graduated, right? We can understand that because there are various obstacles to getting a job. But if you have graduated 10 years ago and you're not making any effort towards doing anything, then that's a red flag, for sure.
Okay, understandable. All right, next one. They hate animals. Not a dog person, not a cat person. I think I would say that's a red flag. I think that's a red flag. Okay. The next one, they are still friends with their exes. For me, that's an in-between flag. It depends on the situation. Okay, this might be a controversial one. It might be. They expect you to submit. Submit to them. I guess they're giving their expectations for when you are married, I guess. I like that one. Okay, they wouldn't let you have the password to their phone. They wouldn't let you have the password to their phone. Why y'all need so much context, guys?
Sorry for all the people who needed to hear. As I was saying, if it is that we just meet, we're on our first date, and you decide you're gonna say, you know, in our relationship, if we do get into a relationship, I expect you to give me my password. That's weird. No, we need context.
Somebody said 6 months in.
6 months. It depends on who it is. If you feel like you're comfortable with that person, then I guess you would be fine with it. But if you're not, then yeah, no.
Okay. So we're coming down to the end. This is the last few. They took a year, or taking a year, is at the year mark, and they still have not defined the relationship. What's the time limit, guys? What's the time limit? Is there a time limit, or you just go? What's the time limit? Why not? I see we got resounding red flags for that one. Okay, this is another, well, controversial for others. They identify as non-binary. That's what I expected. That's what I expected. Okay, they are shorter than you. Wait, let me see the flags. Let me see the flags for a second there. I see more men saying green and more women saying red. I might be biased, but I think that's a red flag too. As a tall woman, I don't want. Can't even go and wear heels. Everything is flats. Okay. That they're shorter than you. Oh, that wasn't a question. That was just me. That was just me. Okay, this is the last three. They are materialistic. But they might be in their soft girl era, guys. They might be in their soft boy era, guys. We are here for the things. You don't see the people on social media. He buy me all of this and he buy me all of that. Okay. Princess treatment and all those things, man. Okay. The second last one. They like to go with the flow. Everything is going with the flow. What time we going out? We going with the flow. What are we? What are we? We going with the flow. When you get married me, we going with the flow. Everything is with the flow. And the last one, we had to leave with this one. They brush before breakfast. They brush their teeth before breakfast. I feel like I saw this question on social media, and in the comments, everybody was saying, but then everything it tastes bad. I just want to thank everybody for participating. I think that icebreaker really broke the ice. We got everybody talking, so I hope that we have the same energy and participation as we move into the discussion. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good night, everyone. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to be honest with you right at the beginning. Love is not blind. But infatuation doesn't see very well. I want to say something that is obvious as we begin, and that is that most relationships do not last. You're aware of that, right? Most relationships fail. Most people don't marry their first boyfriend or girlfriend. That first relationship fails, maybe the second, the third, the fourth. And then even when you get married, a lot of marriages fail, even in the church. And even ones that you don't divorce or they don't fail outright, a lot of relationships in the church are struggling. So most relationships fail. And I want to suggest to you that there are two main reasons why so many relationships fail. Number one, unrealistic expectations. And number two, mismanaged differences. And I just want to explain them a little bit, beginning with unrealistic expectations. So I find a lot of people these days are watching, the African movies, and they're watching Bollywood. Yeah, the Korean dramas. I didn't remember the Korean dramas. And of course, they're watching the Hollywood movies, and Notebook and so forth, and Disney, and so on and so forth. And out of watching these things, they get unrealistic expectations about relationships. And I want to take off the shades for you tonight. He is far from perfect. She is not an angel. You do not complete each other. As a matter of fact, both of you are sinners with issues. This is the reality. It's not this dreamy movie stuff. Long-term relationships is not that. That's just infatuation at the beginning of the relationship, okay? All right, so what are some of the issues? I said both of you are sinners with issues. What are some of the issues? Communication is an issue. A lot of people don't know how to communicate positively. We always hear that communication is good. Good communication is good. Bad communication is extremely destructive. And often I tell couples that you need to avoid criticism like the plague. And couples look at me like I'm weird, like, How do you get the other person to do what you want them to do if you don't criticize? Not realizing that criticizing and complaining destroys the relationship in the long run. You might get some results at the beginning, but in the long run, it doesn't work. So communication is one of the issues, big issues in relationships. For instance, let's say that you, as a woman, you get home, you're married, and you get home and your husband is home before you, and the sink is a mess, the kitchen is a mess. How are you going to respond? Well, many persons in that situation will respond, you home ever since you home before me, why do sink look like this? That is not good communication, because the person is going to feel attacked. And then the person might come up with some reason, oh, my head hurting me or something, I was just relaxing, I just get home. And then the negative communication escalates from there. And you say, oh, you always got some excuse, some plaster for every sore. Your head always hurting you. You think you got a maid in here or something. This is not communication that works, okay? But a lot of people communicate in that way. It's almost like we are born or raised to communicate it in that way. So a lot of people have communication issues. And then conflict resolution issues come from that. Don't know how to resolve conflict. By the way, if you are in a conflict and you find that your heart is racing, or your as some people say, your blood boiling or whatever. For me, when I'm angry, my skin gets hot. If you find that you're getting this physical response because you are getting angry, nothing good is going to come out of that. It is best to walk away, count to 10 or 20 or whatever you have to count to, and let your blood pressure come back down before you deal with the issue. And people don't understand this, and they escalate the conflict when they're hot. And some partners want to walk away and cool off, and the other partner say, no, you ain't leaving here till we get this resolved. And then the next thing, dishes broke and doors hit off the hinges and that kind of thing. All kinds of things. So conflict resolution is an issue, but when you're in the infatuation stage, you're not thinking about any of these things. The person look good, they're nice, and they talk to you nice, and you like how they dress and everything. Another key issue is habits, as we see here. Like, is the person clean? These are questions that you need to ask yourself. Can you live with some person, that has the habits that this person have? You have to look at financial management. I think that we talk about financial management as whether a green flag or a red flag. Does this person spend all their time, their leisure activities, playing video games or on Facebook or whatever? Are you getting sufficient affection? Is the person loving? What is their relationship with their family and friends, with your family and friends? What are their expectations in terms of who is supposed to do what in the relationship? What are their views on children? What are their views on parenting? What are their religious beliefs? All of these things go into making a successful relationship. But oftentimes, people who are in the early stages of the relationship, they're infatuated, they don't take any of these things into consideration. It's just like, she looked good, he looked good, we have a good time, and you progress on that without thinking more seriously. And that's why people say love is blind, but it's not really love. It's infatuation. The other thing that cause relationships to fail is mismanaged differences. Now, you have differences on different levels. You have male and female differences, and believe me, folks, I don't understand why people can't conceptualize male and female differences. You know that men and women have different bodies, different biological functions, different hormones. So why is it so hard to believe that men think differently and women think differently? And you have to be aware of these differences if a relationship is going to work. I just came from a counseling session, and we were talking about men do not figure out what you want. Women, yeah, right. Women have to tell men what they want, right? So, but women do not like to tell men what they want. The women want the men to figure it out, right? So you have a problem there already. My suggestion to the couple that I was talking to a few minutes ago was that to help the woman to understand that you have to help the man to know what you want. So the scenario that we were going through is that when they were first together, they used to date a lot. And then when they got married, the dating stopped. So she is unhappy because he doesn't carry her out to restaurants or go to the beach on Sundays or whatever. And she's unhappy. And he knows that she's unhappy, but he doesn't know why. And she isn't saying why she's unhappy because she thinks he should figure it out. You understand? Like, he used to carry me on dates. Before he don't carry me on dates anymore, I unhappy, he should figure it out. He's not going to figure it out. Yeah. You have to say, okay? These are some differences. Like, women expect men to think like women. Men expect women to think like men. It doesn't work. So when you mismanage male and female differences, you create problems in the relationship. When you have differences in upbringing, that can create problems in the relationships. Like in one family, birthdays is a big thing. In another family, birthdays don't mean nothing. You understand? Birthdays is just another day. And then you all marry. And it is one person's birthday and the other person ignore it completely. You understand? It's not that's differences in upbringing. But as you all see, you all putting out red flags. Okay? Differences in beliefs. We talk about differences in beliefs. And then we have personality differences. So personality differences is where I'm going to focus tonight, but I want you to understand that love cannot be blind. It must not be blind. And when we start off with this blind infatuation and we're not thinking seriously about these things, that's why problems come in relationships. You need to think. You need to think about, what are my expectations? You need to talk about these things. What are my expectations? What are your expectations? You know, what differences, how are we going to manage differences? Because unrealistic expectations and mismanaged differences cause big problems in marriage. And one of the differences that can cause big problems is personality differences. And so we're going to be focusing on personality differences for the next little while. I don't know if anybody want to say anything before we go on. Any comments about anything that I've said so far? Disagree with anything? Huh? Not yet. Okay, cool. All right. Yes, please.
Okay. The point was that, well, the comment that I want to make is that in reality, ladies, when you're dating a man cannot read your mind. The pastor just said, you have to tell the man. You have to tell us. And because if you don't tell us, or even give us a little hint, you're not getting anything from us. You are not getting anything from us. Because, listen, plain and simple. You see that? You see what the point that he was making with the lady being accustomed to going out? Well, if you don't say, honey, I miss going to the beach on Sunday. Can we go? We're not taking you. Because we're not mind readers. God did not give us that gift. And the whole thing is communication is important in the relationship.
Okay, so let me say this. Somebody else might want to respond, but let me say this. So, women like to be cared for by a strong man, right? Right. Men like to be appreciated by the women, right? So when the man isn't like taking, in this case, taking her out, she feels like she feels uncared for. But right, and when the man doesn't know that she wants to go to the beach, so he feels that he's a good man because he's working and he's coming home straight from work. He is paying the bills and so forth. He isn't flirting with any girls or anything. He feels he's a good man, and he cannot understand why the woman is unhappy. You understand? Now, if the woman says to the guy, as he said just now, I miss going to the beach. Can we go to the beach, please? And the guy says, and the guy takes her to the beach. The guy takes her to the beach, right? And then she says, you know, we really had a good time. I really had a good time. I really enjoyed that. Then he feels appreciated, and he says, wow, she likes when I do things like this. And then he is more willing to, you have hinted to him then. But if she wants a specific thing, yeah, she still has to ask, but at least because you start the ball rolling and you say, this is what I like. And then he did it, and then you show appreciation. He feels good, and he says, okay, so she likes these kind of things. Yes, please.
I just want to say, ladies, forget about the hints. I didn't even like that he mentioned the word hint. I am married. I don't have a lot of years put in, but I am married, and I could tell you, forget the hints. Say exactly what you want, when you want it, how you want it, what time you want it at, so that you can be happy and not miserable. It is what it is. They are not my readers. If you want to be happy all the time, say what you want.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question.
Sure.
And do you feel happy having to act and be specific all the time? Because she said ask, and you'll be happy when they do it. But the question is, do you yourself feel happy when you have to ask all the time? It feels like
women prefer, women prefer if you can figure it out without them asking. Then they really, really feel loved, right? If they have to tell you, it diminishes it. So, right. Yeah.
Right.
But the reality is that men are not my readers. But if when the man does something that you like, then you show appreciation. I said, I really appreciated that. I like that kind of thing. Then the man feels good, and then the man says, oh, so when I do these kind of things, I get appreciation. And so he's more inclined to do those kind of things.
Yes, but I want to also say, ladies, that it would annoy you to say that for you to show appreciation, it happened, and then 6 months down the road, you have to remind them again. But the reality is that may happen.
Yeah, that could happen too.
That could happen.
Yeah. All right. The Jai had his hand up there for a while.
I just wanted to say, basically, to guys too, if you're doing things for your wife constantly, say you're doing something that you think she likes or before she liked, and she still is not happy. It's easy to say, you know, what do you want to do? That's very simple. You can ask her what she wants to do instead of doing the wrong thing. You can ask a question. It's very easy to ask a question.
Yeah. I think the overall point, let's not miss the overall point, right? The overall point is that mismanaging differences cause a lot of problems in relationships. That's the overall point. And I just use this as an example to show you how men and women are different, right? And that you, as a woman, you must not assume that he knows and he will figure it out, because men are not like that. You have to tell them, and you might have to tell them more than once, and then they will realize, oh, she likes this. Okay, when you show appreciation. But a married man, he may have been taking you out on dates when you all were first together, but now you all are married, and you got bills to pay, you got groceries to buy and stuff like that, and he is managing that. The man thinks he is doing well. He thinks he's doing well. You understand? And he cannot understand why you are unhappy unless you tell him, you know, that you miss the dates and you want to go, because as a woman gets married, generally speaking, there are always going to be exceptions, but a woman gets married to have a permanent date. A man gets married so that he don't have to date no more. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so people are asking for a repeat. A woman gets married to have a permanent date. A man gets married so he don't have to date no more. Men and women different. Yeah. Yeah, we got the gent here, and then in the back.
All right, I have one statement to make and then a question. First statement was what the lady said. That question you said is the worst question any man could ask. Because most women, when you say, what do you want, they don't know.
Oh, and the second and the second thing.
And the second thing is, the question I had is, if it is in a relationship where you have been together for, let's say 10 or more years, is it okay then to say, okay, he should know me well enough by now to know certain things? Or should he know from the get-go of the relationship? That's my question.
No, I think that's a more complicated question than you might think. It depends on the relationship dynamics, but I think the safest thing is just to say what you want, right? And we have a hard time in saying what we want. It's easier to criticize some person. Like for instance, the scenario I gave where the woman comes home. Sorry for using women, but I used this scenario before. The man was home before the dishes are dirty, right? The normal response is, well, you was home ever since, and you look at the sink, right? So the normal response is to attack, to criticize. Whereas a better response would be, you know, honey, I'm tired. You know, everybody tired. Can you help me with the wares, please? And that way you're not attacking, but attacking just comes so natural. But that's not good communication. Rather than whenever you are something is not going the way that you want it to go, and you use you statements, you always, you never, you this, you that, you the next, that's bad communication, and it's not going to work in the long run. When something is not going the way that you want to go, you should be using I statements. I would like this. I would prefer this. I would be happy if you do this. Then the person is not feeling attacked, and they're more willing in the long run to do what you ask them to do. All right. Yes, please.
Hi. I'm not going to say anything. Let me just put a disclaimer, guys. We are happily married despite anything my husband might say tonight. Let me just say that when you are getting to that stage, when you're getting to marriage, just prepare yourself to train your spouse. Train them into the things that you like. And I didn't say women train your men or men train your women. You have to train your spouse. I'm Jamaican. My husband is Barbadian. Two totally different cultures, two totally different upbringing, two totally different cuisine. We had to find a middle ground in order for us to remain so happily married. You know, I had to train him to do the dishes before I come home, right? So I can appreciate him after.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to train your spouse.
Right. Okay. I agree with that point. Please, can we move on? Let me move on. Let's just take the one person who hasn't spoken yet, and then we need to move on, folks.
Disclaimer, I'm single, so these may be unrealistic expectations, but you can let me know. But going back to what you were saying about asking the guys or telling them what you want, yada, 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 I just personally feel it makes for a very lazy man. I'm just saying, listen to me. I just feel like we are diminishing the creativity and like the bar in general. Like if I have to tell you every 5 seconds what I want, where is the surprise element of this relationship? Like we would say men can't read minds. There's a face, read the face, boo-boo. Read the body language. Read the energy in the room, man. Like you must be reading something. You have to be intentional about your partner. We can say life gets busy with jobs and groceries and bills, but do you have a roommate? Like, this is not a roommate level. Like this is a marriage. And just to bring a bit of scripture in, if God says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, Christ is in constant pursuit of the church. So it's not we get married and dating done. You have to keep this. You have to constantly pursue the relationship, your partner. That could be just me. My unrealistic expectations, but I mean, hello guys. No, I just feel it makes for a very lazy man. Like we diminishing the creativity of men, the intentionality of men. Like men not dumb.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Those expectations, recipe for disaster. Yeah.
All right, so in response, even though I agree slightly, I would still say that even though the Bible told husbands to love the church as Christ, to love their wives as Christ loved the church, God has still asked us to tell him what we want. It's still required for us to pray to God and ask him, exactly, ask and you shall receive. So if you want to use that analogy, you still need to ask your husband.
Okay, let's go on to personality, shall we? Okay, so there are so many different differences and there are so many different expectations that we need to deal with, but we're going to be focusing on one tonight. I've been asked to focus on one tonight, and that is personality differences. Now, the personality model, as it were, that I use is called MBTI, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Some of you may know it, or some of you may not know it. You can Google it. There's a lot of information on it. Now, I have found that the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is very helpful in understanding yourself and understanding your partner and seeing where you have strong areas and where you have areas that may challenge you. I've been counseling for a long time. I've used this on over 100 couples, and normally they're very shocked to see how accurate it is. So I want to give you a very short version of the quiz, and then I'm going to explain your answers to you, okay? So if you have pen and paper, take it. It's going to teach you about yourself, and it's going to teach you about if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, about them, and if you don't, it's going to show you where potential challenges may be. If you have pen and paper, you can use pen and paper. If you don't have pen and paper, you can use your phone, but you have to follow the instructions very carefully if you are using your phone. I want to encourage you to do the quiz. If you've never done MBTI before, as I said, it's a very short version. I'm aware that it's 10 past 8 and we're here until 9. And it's going to be beneficial. There are just a couple of instructions I have. There are just a couple of instructions that I have, okay? First of all, be honest. You know, there are no right answers, there are no wrong answers. So just be honest. There are no right personalities, there are no wrong personalities. Every personality has its place, every personality has its strengths and its weaknesses, okay? The second thing is, do not answer based on how you are at work, because you cannot, or how you are at school. You cannot be your personality at work all the time. You get it? Because let's say that you're a receptionist, but you really don't like people. You can't. You have to pretend. You get what I'm saying? Let's say that you're a policeman, but you're shy. You can't be shy as a policeman. You understand? Let's say that you like to tell people as it is, but you have a supervisor that like firing people. You know what I mean? So when you answer the questions, don't answer based on how you are at work or in a formal environment. Answer how you are relaxed, when you're cooling, when you're chilling out, you know, with your family or with your friends or whatever. And then some of the questions you're going to be both, but put the answer which one you are most of the time. Okay? All right. So everybody's ready? All right, so as I said, there are 20 questions. Now pay attention to this point. You have to line up the questions a particular way on your paper or on your phone. The first line, horizontal line, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? So put 1 and leave a space, sufficient space for you to write A or B. Put 2 and then leave sufficient space for you to put A or B. Put 3, 4. And that's it, and that's the top line. Everybody got that? Horizontal, everybody know horizontal, right? Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, horizontally. Okay, so we're going down to the second horizontal line now, and the 5 goes under the 1, the 6 goes under the 2, the 7 goes under the 3, the 8 goes under the 4. You got that? All right, and then you keep doing it like that, so that the 9 goes under the what? Right. And you do that until you get to 20. There's a particular reason why we line them up like that. All right? Everybody clear? Okay. So we begin with question number 1. Put A if you are a very energetic person. You have lots of energy. Action. Put A. Put B, if you tend to be more laid back, you tend to more conserve your energy. That's clear? If anything unclear, let me know. Pardon me? It's only A or B. Yeah. And if you're both, you put which one you are most of the time. Right. So for instance, for me, y'all already know which one I am, right? B. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Question number 2. You tend to rely on common sense. If you're a common sense person, then you put A, right? Right. Put B if you tend to rely on research. Not a word, just a, like, yeah. So like, if you want it, let's say, I don't know what kind of examples to give you, but let's say you want to change your diet, you want to eat healthier. Are you going to say, well, that's a common sense thing. I just need to eat more fruits, eat more vegetables. That's a common sense thing. Or are you the kind of person that will go, let me go and see about the Mediterranean diet if I want to try the Mediterranean diet. Or let me see if I want to try the keto diet. Or let me see if I want, you get the difference? Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Question number 3. Are you put A if you are more logical? And put B if you are more sympathetic. You get the difference, right? Right. Yeah. All right. Question number 4. Put A if you are more orderly and organized. Put A. And put B if you are more flexible. Right. If you're more flexible, you know. You know, everything don't have to be organized. You're flexible. You put B. Yeah? Okay. Order is good too, values. They're both good. Yeah, there are no wrong answers, people. Just let me remind you. Just speak the truth, and there's no right or any wrong answers. There's no good personality and bad personality. There are good persons and bad persons. All right? All right, so we should be on to line number 2, right? Okay. Now, put A if you are an outgoing person. Yeah. Like going out. Outgoing. Things happening. Right. And put B if you are more reserved. Yeah. More, you know. Now everybody goes out at times and everybody stays home by themselves at times. But which one you tend to do more? Or which one you prefer to do more? Yeah. Right. So if you like out, you know, then put A. If you like more being more reserved, put B. Okay. Number 6. Put A if you are experiential. I'm going to explain. And put B if you are theoretical. So my wife is experiential and I'm theoretical, right? So if we buy something that needs to be assembled, she's going to look at it and she's going to say, well, this look like if this fit on here, and then she'll say like, oh, but this ain't fitting, this must be in for here then. And then she can try something else. And then she's going to get it put together right. You understand? Me, I going for the manual. And I can be reading. And then when I read the whole manual or most of it, then I'm going to try to put it together. Normally by then my wife already got it put together. But you get the 2 different personalities, right? Okay, so A if you are experiential, B if you are theoretical. Number 7, put A if you are candid, straightforward, and frank. Put B if you are tactful, kind, and diplomatic. Right. So if you're more straightforward and frank, put A. If you're more tactful and kind and diplomatic, you put B. Okay. Question number 8. Question number 8. Put A if you like to have a plan and a schedule. Obviously, if in a work situation, a school situation, you have to have a plan and a schedule. But how about when you're on vacation? Do you? No. Okay. Put B if you like to be more spontaneous. We're not talking about work. Work, you have to have a plan. But when you're on vacation, you don't have to have a plan. If you think that you have to have a plan when you're on vacation, then you need to put A. But if you get up in the morning when you're on vacation, you say, what I feel like doing today? No. Then you put B. Right. All right, so we're on to the third line. We're moving smartly ahead. Put A if you like to have many tasks. You like to be involved in many tasks, public activity, interaction with others. So you want, you want to be personal ministries and the community services, or, you just like to be involved. You like to be involved, right? Put A. If you like more solitary activities, you just want to focus on one thing at a time. You don't want all of these things crowding you. More private, solitary activities, you put B. Okay? Number 10, we are at the halfway mark now. Halfway mark. Number 10, if you consider yourself to be a standard person, then you put A. A standard person is a person that comfortable with most people, get along with most people, most people get along with them, they feel comfortable in most environments. Then you standard, conventional, you understand? Right? You go in a room with people, you fit in, you feel comfortable, that kind of thing. If you're a standard, conventional person, put A. If you find that you more different, most environments you don't really just feel so comfortable in, and you don't fit in so easily, and that kind of thing. You find that you're more different, then you put B. All right? Remember, none right or wrong. It's just who you are, right? Okay. Okay. Question number 11. If you tend to be firm and hold the line, this is how it is, then this is how it's supposed to be, then put A. If you tend to be gentle and you want to reconcile, well, let's see how we can work it out, let's see how we can give and take and that kind of thing, then you put B. But if you're like, it either right or wrong, it either done properly or not done properly, this is it, this is the way it's supposed to be done, then you're A. Yeah? Okay, good. All right. Number 12. If you are very regulated and structured, you put A. What is regulated and structured? The spoons go in this slot, the knives go in this slot, the forks go in this slot. The hangers supposed to be facing this way. Right. The shirts on this side, the blouses on that. That is structured. Right? If you are like that, then you put A. If you're the kind of person, where the fork is now? Where the fork is? Yeah, everything pile up, but you know where to find things when you're ready to find them. Right. It's a system that only you understand. Yeah. Right. Then you are easygoing. If you're like that, you know, it's a system that you only understand. To other people it look like chaos, but you know where to find things eventually when you need them. Then you're easygoing, you put B. So A for number 12 is regulated and structured. B is easygoing. Okay? Number 13. So we should be on the fourth line now. Number 13, if you tend to express yourself, you say what's on your mind. Yeah. You say what's on your mind. Deal with the consequences, but at least people know how you feel and what you think. Right. Then you put A. You express yourself. But if you're the kind of person that you don't say anything, people don't know how you feel. You understand. You keeping quiet. You keeping to yourself. Then you put B. Yeah. So there's some people in here. There's some people in here that I know definitely are A's, and there's some people in here. Just the expression on their face alone tell me that they're B. Yeah. Okay. Number 14. You focus on the here and now. You consider, when I say here and now, I don't mean in comparison to heaven. I mean, you focus on the immediate issues, on the present, right? If you're that kind of person, I'm going to explain. If you're that kind of person, you put A. If you're the kind of person that looking down the road, then you put B. So here's the example. A lady, she said to her husband, "Honey, when we get our house, how do you want the kitchen to be? Do you want to have a peninsula? Do you want to have an island? Or do you want the kitchen to be enclosed?" And the man says, "Honey, I ain't thinking about nothing, so I just trying to get the land." You get which one is which? Yeah. When he get the land, then he would think about the next thing, then he would think about the next thing, then he would not think about the next thing. He focuses on the immediate issues. The woman, she's all down the road. Right. Okay. Neither one is right or wrong. Yes, please. What do you do more often than not? I said that already. Okay. Number 15. Put A if you are more tough-minded and just. And put B if you are more tender-hearted and merciful. So something bad happened to a bad person, but what happened to them was real bad. Are you the person say, it served them right? Served them right. They're too wicked. Or do you say, if you're like that, you tough-minded? Or do you say, yeah, they weren't behaving well, but I feel sorry for them still. You understand? Kadir. You understand? Right. And again, neither one is wrong. You need both kind of people in the world. But be honest, are you more like, that's the business, they had the right, you make your bed, you sleep in it. You understand? So that's their business. Or are you like, they're still a human being after all. Okay. All right, number 16. We remember we're talking about when you are relaxed. We're not talking about work. Put A if you are some person that like to prepare and plan ahead. And put B if you are the person that go with the flow. Remember you're on vacation, right? So like the person that like to prepare and plan ahead, this is just an example, but the person that like to prepare and plan ahead, you going away, today is what, October the 6th, you're going away next Sunday, October what is next Sunday? The 15th. You're going away October the 15th. Do you have like a list of the things that you want to pack, or you start him to pack already? Yeah. Then if you're like that, then you are preparation and plan ahead. You understand? Or, the night before, you got it in your, you got a basic idea. You need a toothbrush. You need some underwear and some socks. So then, the night before you traveling, you just take some things and you put in the suitcase, and whatever you forget, you buy when you get there. You don't worry about them things. You understand? That's an example of the difference between a prepare and plan ahead. That example might not apply to you, but it gives you the idea, right? Okay. All right. Last line, so we're coming down the home stretch now. Put A for number 17 if you like to initiate things. You're the one that say, let's do this, or I have an idea, we should try this, or let's go this way. You are the person who initiates. So you like to initiate. Or you like to initiate. Right. Some people don't like to initiate, but because their spouse don't ever initiate, they find themselves initiating, but they don't really like to. But you like to initiate, right? Okay, put A. Put B if you prefer to deliberate. So you prefer to say, all right, I will think about that. I will get back to you on that. I ain't sure if I want to do that or not. A is more initiate and B is more deliberate. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so my wife is initiate. Oh, by the way, my wife said that she came to heckle me if I said anything. She's gonna get up and say, that's foolishness. Yeah. But, yeah. But my wife is initiate. She's always, hon, we should do this, and hon, we should do that. And I'd be like, all right, I would do this, but I ain't doing that. That kind of thing. So she's initiate, I'm deliberate. Okay. Question number 18. Put A if you like dealing with facts and what is. Give me the facts. Let us deal with reality, what really is. Put A. If you like to deal, put B if you like to deal with ideas and possibilities. Put B. Yeah. And which one do you do more? Okay. Okay. Number 19, the second last. Yeah, one time I was doing this quiz and I said, number 19, the penultimate question, and somebody said, Pastor, I got one after this. Only Matthew has got that. Put A if you are issue oriented, and put B if you are people oriented. This is the issue. We need to deal with the issue. We need to focus on the issue. If you are like that, put A. If you are like, but you gotta think about how people can feel and how people can react and how people can respond, then you put B. Yeah? Issue oriented or people oriented. Okay, and then the last question. What is your leadership style like? If you have to look after like little children or what, as an example, is your style more to control and govern? Be careful, don't climb that tree, don't go outside, without your shoes or whatever, Then your style is more A, control and govern. If you are like, man, let them run about, they fall down, they get back up, you know, dust off, and they go again, you know, yeah. Boys will be boys, right? If your style is more like that, so you more like to give people freedom, yeah. Or if you are like that, if you give a lot of latitude and freedom, then you are B. If you are more like, no, you do it this way. This is what's supposed to happen. Don't do this, do that. Then you put A. Yeah? Okay, so everybody got the answers? The people who didn't do this quiz are going to regret it afterwards. Anything you need me to repeat? Number 6. Put A if you are more outgoing. You think out loud. And put B if you are more reserved and you keep your thoughts to yourself. Anything else? Wait, sorry. You said number 6? Sorry, that is number 5, sorry. My mistake. Number 6 is A if you are more experiential. Sorry. A if you are more experiential, you like doing things with your hands. I explained this. Yeah, using my wife as an example. And B is that you're more theoretical. So the first one I gave, that was number 5, sorry. Yes, please? Any other? That's it, so we good? All right, now, look at your paper, and we were going across 1, 2, 3, 4, but now we are going to go down. So your first column has what numbers? Okay, cool. If you have more A's than B's in that first column, if you have 3 or more A's in that first column, put a capital E at the bottom. And if you have 3 or more B's in that first column, put a capital I at the bottom. So it's either E or I, right? Okay. Second column, starting with 2, ending with 18. If you have 3 or more A's, put capital S at the bottom. S, as in Singapore. And if you have 3 or more B's, put a capital N, as in Nigeria. 3 or more B's, N, as in Nigeria. 3 or more A's, S, as in Singapore. For the third column, beginning with 3, ending with 19, if you have 3 or more A's, put capital T. Capital T as in Toronto. And if you have 3 or more B's, put capital F as in Florida. And the fourth and final column, beginning with 4, ending with 20, if you have 3 or more A's, put a capital J. Put a capital J as in Jamaica. And if you have 3 or more B's, put a capital P as in Puerto Rico. Okay? All right, so let me explain to you now. Hello. Let me explain to you now what the letters mean, and you can begin to see if the letters apply for you. E is extrovert. E is extrovert. An extrovert is a person who is more outgoing, more high energy, more. Yeah. So E is extrovert, and obviously I is introvert. I is a person who is more laid back, more quiet, more reserved. I. Yeah. Okay. We good there? All right. So the S is a sensor. A sensor is a person who's very practical, who's very down to earth. They live in the present. They live through their senses. They like to touch things and manipulate things and see and smell and taste and so forth. S's tend to be good with their hands, artists, musicians, athletes, chefs, artisans, those kind of things, right? Yeah, teachers could be in there too. Teachers could be either one. It depends on what you're teaching. Yeah, okay, right. The N now. N is intuitive. Intuitive is a person that is in their head a lot. The ideas and possibilities and concepts and theories and that kind of thing. They in their head more often than not. Intuitive. Remember, intuitive begins with I, but we already got I for introvert, so we use the next letter, which is N. Intuitive. Okay? T is thinker. Now, everybody is a thinker, right? But T is a person who is more into like logic, right? F is a feeler. The feeler is more into how they feel and how other people feel. Okay? Right. So for instance, a wife asks her husband, how do I look in this dress? And the husband say, you look bad. You look bad. What is he? He's a thinker. He's a thinker. If he were a feeler, he would say something different. He would say, well, you know, I like you in anything, but this isn't my favorite. You know, something like that. Because he would be sensitive to her feelings. He's a feeler. So, but the husband say, you look bad. And the wife says, okay, I will go and put on something else. What is she? She's a thinker. Yeah, she's a thinker as well. Because if she was a feeler and her husband tell her she looked bad, you know, she can be hurt and all kind of thing. Gang, you understand? But both of them are thinkers. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's what it is. Thinker or feeler. A thinker is just interested in logic without really concern for your feelings. A feeler is more concerned about how they feel and how other people will feel. Okay? Right. And now the last one, J, is a judger. And a judger is a person that they see things in black and white. They either right or wrong. They either in the right place or it is not in the right place. It's either done properly or it wasn't done properly. They're black and white. They see things as either right or wrong. Right? The P is a perceiver. A perceiver is a person that flexible. It don't really matter, you know. It could work either way, you know. Yeah, yeah. So that's what it is. Now, okay. So the letters that you get with the explanation that I give, does it sound like you? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, some of you, it's only you. Yes, Shanice. Yeah.
So I don't understand how I ended up with this result. Did I do something wrong?
No, but okay. You can have you. It is not absolute. You understand? You're a bit of both. For most of you. And most of the columns, you're not going to have straight A's or straight B's. I mean, you might have straight A's for one column or two, but you're unlikely to have straight A's for all the columns, right? So it means that you have a little bit of the other part of it in you too, right? So you can be intuitive, but you can still be creative. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. You might be a thinker, but you still have feelings, right? But it's where the emphasis is. So it's not like you're either all thinker or all feeler. It is that you may be more leaning towards being a thinker or more leaning towards being a feeler. You get me? Okay. All right. So let me tell you. I mean, there are 16 possible combinations. Personalities, 4 squared, 16. And I won't go through all the personality types, but I will give you some rough ideas of where challenges may come with these personalities, right? So for example, an introverted guy and an extroverted girl can be a challenge, because the extroverted girl, because she's outgoing, she's outspoken, and she likes to initiate and stuff like that, and the fella is more quiet and reserved, the extroverted girl may come over as bossy. You get me? Right. And fellas do not like bossy girls. Right? And also the extroverted girl she might feel like she always got to be taking the lead. She always got to be doing anything, and he's so passive, right? So it is something to be aware of. Now, any two personalities can work, but you have to be able to manage your differences. Remember, I talk about the reasons why relationships break up: unrealistic expectations and mismanaged differences. So I'm not saying that if the girl is extroverted and the guy is introverted, it can't work. I'm just saying be aware and manage the differences, right? Now if the guy is extroverted and the girl is introverted, it is less of an issue, because the guy is the one that initiating more often than not, and girls don't really have a major problem with that. If it's 2 extroverted persons, it is not really an issue either. And if it's 2 introverted persons, it's not really an issue. The greatest issue is if the girl is the extrovert and the guy is the introvert. Okay? All right. Now, with the second one, this one it determines like your communication, the second letter. Like as people, they like to talk about things that happen and things that they see and things that they're working on and so on and so forth. The end person doesn't like to think about those things, talk about those things. They like to talk about things that they've been thinking about, ideas that they have and so forth. You understand? So when you have an S and an N, the communication can be a challenge, because you want to talk, your interest lies in different areas. You get what I'm saying? Right. It can be overcome, but if you are unaware, it can be a challenge. So by the way, my wife and I, just to give you an example, my wife and I are completely different. So all of our letters are different. And she's an E and I'm an I. Right? So, yeah, and we've been married 23 years and we're going, okay, right, honey? You're supposed to say yes. Right. So it's workable, but you're gonna have to manage the differences. You get me? Right. So going back to the example with the house and the land and stuff like that, I would drive around before we didn't have land or anything with no concept, and I would be driving around and I say, honey, you like this house style, or you like that house style, and so on and so forth. And she would just be like, it's okay. And I'd be like, why? And she'd say, but we ain't building anytime soon. What are you showing me these houses for? Because she's more like less hands-on, what is happening, what's going on, what am I doing now? I don't want to talk about ideas and possibilities that may or may not occur. So that is something to be aware of, an S with an N. Okay, the last one, the second last one, sorry, the third one, a T and an F. So a T tends to hurt the F's feelings without trying. You understand? Just being honest. So the T is not so conscious of the person's feelings. So for instance, in the case where the woman asks the man, how I look, how do I look in this dress? The man is a T. The man is just going to say, you look bad. If you think that you look bad, you're going to say, you look bad, right? And then now, if the woman is an S, now she in the mood. You understand? She's like, what wrong? The man is like, what wrong with you? And if what you ask me for then, you understand? If you don't want to answer what you ask me for, you understand? Yeah, because he's just like, give you the facts straight. So a T tends to hurt an F's feelings without even trying, and an F tends to frustrate a T because you always offended, you always hurt, something always bothering you, like, you understand? Like, you know? So a T T and F can be challenging, and as somebody pointed out, men tend to be T's. There are a lot of men that are F's, but more men are T's than women, and more women are F's than men. Yeah? Okay. And even if a woman is T, she still have more F than if a man is T. Yeah. Okay. Now, the last one, judges and perceivers. Judges and perceivers can also be a challenge because they like things a different way. So the judger might consider the perceiver to be disorganized, untidy, and all of those kind of things, right? And keep the house confused and that kind of thing. And the perceiver might think that the judge, what's the word they call it? Like monk. What OCD, right? Yeah. So that can be a challenge because one person like everything done a particular way and the other person, don't matter, right? So that can cause some quarrels. Yeah, but none of these things are deal breakers. It all depends on how you manage, but it helps to be aware. Okay? So that's it. If you have a partner, you can look and you can compare and you can contrast, but just be aware of what your personality is. Be aware of where the challenges may be with a potential spouse or a current spouse, because you all have different personalities. I realize that even though you have differences, the differences can be managed, right? So for instance, I did this quiz with a couple, and they answered one question the same. One question the same, right? So they were very, very, very different. And that couple was married, had been married for 30-something years. They had good grandchildren and that kind of thing, right? But early in the relationship, they had a lot of conflict to work through. And the couple that, I also tested a couple that they answered 19 questions the same. And that couple is divorced. So it is not the similarities or the differences. It is how you manage them. Okay? All right. I'm done. It's 8 minutes to, 5 minutes to. Yeah, so I'm done. I don't know if there are any questions. Yes, please. MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator. There's lots of information on it online. You can check and do your research. Okay? Anything else? Yes, please.
No, I actually wanted to ask this before we got into this.
Yeah.
The question that I wanted to ask, I had to write it down. How do you handle, or how should you handle change in your spouse? Because I understand that people do not remain static, right? You grow, you get older, but you do change. Maybe some foundational things will remain, but the person changes as an individual. How do you go about that?
Okay, so this is an important question, and this managing change is one of the areas where you have a lot of conflict in relationship. Relationships go through stages. You have the infatuation stage, where the person looks so awesome, and then you have the reality stage, where you start to see faults and things you don't like, and then you have the power struggle stage. And the power struggle stage is where you're trying to change the person into more like what you want them to be, and or vice versa. They're trying to change you, and you're resisting change, right? So people don't want you to try to change them. They want you to accept them, right? So what we normally do to get people to change is to criticize. And I talked about this before. It doesn't work in the long run. The more criticism you have in a relationship, the further and further away that you will go, okay? In fact, there's a guy that, John Gottman, that he says that he can determine with 85% accuracy if a relationship will work or not, depending on the level of criticism. So when you're seeing changes that you don't like, you have to find a diplomatic way of addressing those changes. You cannot criticize, right? You have to find a diplomatic way. So like, suppose the man getting a pot belly, right? You don't tell him, you just eat too much, or you need to stop eating, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. That isn't going to work, right? Maybe you could suggest, honey, let's go walking in the morning or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Right. Well, you try something else then. Yeah. Or you just cook different. You understand? Buy different groceries with less sugar or something. But the point is that you do not, when you see things that you don't like in a relationship, or you see changes that you don't like in a relationship, the natural inclination is to criticize the person, but that doesn't work. You have to work around that. I'm not sure if I answer your question or not, but you have to try to accept the person and work around while you're trying to see changes. Yeah. But don't criticize. And people roll their eyes when I say this, but criticism is really destructive. Somebody else? Yeah. Okay, so somebody say what to do other than criticize. Okay, so yeah. So what John Gottman says is that if a marriage has less than 5 compliments or words of appreciation, words of affirmation per criticism, that relationship is in trouble. So if you criticize your spouse, you owe them 5 compliments, basically. You understand? You need the relationship to stay positive, and continually harping and dwelling on something that you like makes makes the atmosphere of the relationship negative, and that does not work in the long run. Okay, Yes.
Yeah, good night. You would have mentioned that you would have dealt with a couple who would have done the test and they had adversely different results. But you said it's still manageable once the couple is able to deal with whatever.
Right.
How does a couple go about dealing with it or managing it well?
Okay. So take my wife and I. When we did the quiz, we answered 4 questions the same. So the average couple with this 20 question quiz answers about between 7 and 11 the same. So down in 5 and 4, like my wife and I, that's very different. So you're gonna have a lot of conflict, like a lot of different ways of doing things and a lot of different ways of thinking, right? Now, when I first started off in marriage, I didn't understand what I understand now. So I'm going to give an example. I hope that my wife don't mind. But I'm a J, right? I'm a J. So things need to be where they're supposed to be. Everything needs to be in order and all of that. My wife is a P, so it doesn't really matter, right? So we were living in this apartment, and there was a chair right next to the door, the garage door where we came through. So my wife would come home, drop all her bags in the chair, and then she would go in the bedroom and she would change. Right. So I would come home, I would take my bag into the bedroom, put my bag in the wardrobe where it's supposed to go, and then I would change. So I would say to my wife, why don't you just take the bags with you to the bedroom? You go into the bedroom anyhow? Just take them in the bedroom, put them in the closet, and then change. And I said it that way. Yeah. And the next day, the bags are in the chair again. And I was like, wait, I didn't tell you yesterday to take the bags in the bedroom. What's so hard about that? Right? And then the next day, the bags are still in the chair. So then after a while, I say, okay, this isn't working, right? And I getting frustrated with her, and she getting frustrated with me. We not really talking. The evening spoil. You understand? I say it don't make no sense. I'm going to come home, and when I see her bags in the chair, I'm going to take out the bags, and I'm going to put them in the wardrobe. So I took out the bags, I put them in the wardrobe. The next day, I took out the bags, I put them in the wardrobe. And then one day I came home and the bags were not in the chair. And I was like, I gone in the bedroom, I opened the wardrobe, the bags in the wardrobe. And then that wasn't a problem anymore. You get what I'm saying? So that is how you have to deal with it. You making a noise and quarreling and complaining is just going to kill the mood and kill the relationship. You understand? You have to accept that you marry some person, they got issues, they're not like you, they have differences, and you have to manage those differences without hurting the relationship. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah, Pastor. Right now, I am in a position where I am seeing a lot of marriages falling apart.
Right.
Right? I ain't saying nothing about you, sure. I think that Derek would have touched a little bit on what I think is a problem, which is as we grow, we change, but as people, we don't want to come to the table and maybe renegotiate and say, well, I used to like this, but I don't like this anymore. Could you not do this anymore? I don't, But I find that couples don't have that constant communication where you update, you give an update. Like, for example, my wife, today, her color her favorite color is purple. And then maybe 2 months down the road, I want to get her something, and I ask her, wait, babe, I learned that I have to answer, what's your favorite color? Because sometimes it might be like, I'm really feeling purple no more, you know?
Right.
So, but with bigger issues, there
Right.
needs to be a constant update. If something changes, you need to say, well, by the way, I don't like this anymore.
Right.
I don't know what you think. I think that may be one of the biggest issues.
Yeah, you need to communicate, and then you need to accept one another. Yeah. You need to avoid the power struggle. Yeah. Yes, please.
I support the comment by Matthias, and one of the things that I find really helps with that communication and preparation for those conversations is couples devotionals. We've been married for 5 years. We've gone through about 5 different devotionals, and each day they have some different topic, dealing with grief, communicating, talking about managing money, changes. And we've had conversations that we haven't experienced. We just have an idea of how we would deal with it.
Yeah.
So he has an idea of how I will deal with something, and I have an idea of how he would deal with it. But when it happens sometime, it doesn't make sense. It's just theory, and then we are able to talk about it, right? So now he has something to come to the table with. But you said you would this, or you said you would that, and it starts the conversation. Right?
Yeah.
So it helps us to anticipate and manage the change.
Yeah.
Couples devotional, I highly recommend it.
Nice recommendation. Yes, please.
Okay. My wife and I have been married 24 years.
Right.
Right? We learned to ignore the petty fights.
Right.
Like, for instance, the toilet seat.
Right.
It ain't a big deal.
Right.
Right? People make it a big deal, but it's not a big deal.
Right.
Because why argue over something that petty?
Yeah.
Last Sabbath, we had a conversation with someone who got angry at their husband for squeezing the toothpaste wrong.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you understand?
Yeah.
These things in a relationship, in a marriage, are not important.
Right.
It's not as serious as people
Yeah.
make it to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because when my wife and I was discussing the toilet seat years back, what I told her, she was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. But no, they got to figure it out on their own. Okay. All right. What I said was, if I lift it up, the same energy I use to lift up is the same energy you use to put it down to use it. Because I have to lift it up to use it, you have to put it down to use it. So it's the same thing. It makes no sense arguing.
Yeah.
You understand? And at that point, she was like, okay, cool. And 24 years later, we ain't thinking that. But what I'm trying to get at is, there should be no reason to argue over petty things.
Yeah.
There are other issues in the house, and toothpaste and toilet seats ain't a big issue.
Yeah, it's a good point, because I have this habit of going in the fridge, taking out food, taking out drink, and that kind of thing, and then I get distracted, and I go back on the computer. I leave the drink and the food on the fridge. on the counter, and then my wife comes out in the morning, and the food is on the counter in the morning. Yeah. And my wife would be like, you left the food on the counter again. But it is not like something that will make a noise, right? Yeah. So I heard a story recently about this woman that she was married to a guy that was in the armed forces, and she was part of a women's group where they get together and they encourage one another and so forth. And her husband got killed in the but they invited her to still be part of the women's group. So the women in this women's group were complaining, you know, that their husband come home in his boots and he don't take off his boots, you know, and walk through the house in the boots and so forth. And they were complaining about these kind of things. And she said, I would love my husband to come home and walk through the house in the boots. You get it? Yeah, like at least they have a husband, you know, to come home and walk through the house in the boots. Her husband is dead. So it gave the women perspective, you know, like the things that they were complaining about and so forth is not a big thing. I'm not saying that it's hard for the man to walk through the house in the boots, but what I'm saying is that it ain't worth a noise. Yeah. All right. 10 past. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it and you learned something.
All right, thank you very much, Pastor, for that presentation. Give him another round of applause if you enjoyed it, guys. All right, and that was the first iteration, the first episode in our Love Island series, Love is Blind. And we know, I mentioned this earlier, that next week we'll be at Ephesus for the second episode, which is Too Hot to Handle. All right, Too Hot to Handle. You're going to hear more about that throughout the week. And then I'm also going to let you in on a little secret. The third episode, which is the following Friday night, this one will be at King Street SDA, entitled The Ultimatum. The Ultimatum. So next week, Ephesus, Too Hot to Handle, and the week after that, The Ultimatum. So I want you to all stand as we just close to prayer.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for the knowledge that we have been given tonight. We thank you for the points of view. We ask that you would help us to take this to heart, and may it help us in our relationships, those of us who are married, those of us who are not. And may these relationships that are cultivated as a result of this will bring honor and glory to your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, guys, thanks for coming out. Special thanks to the pastor and his lovely wife who came to accompany him. Get home safe, everybody.